item and its corresponding picture are used.
Cocoa Puff.
It is important that a child learns to communicate with a variety of people, so the trainers should reverse roles or new trainers may be introduced. Training continues until the child independently picks up the picture, reaches to the communicative partner, and puts the picture into his hand without prompting or assistance. The training should end before the child tires of the rewarding item.
So you got to see a little bit of the PEC system. This is when it's first being taught. The PEC system has 6 distinct phases that are used within it, and the top or the highest level phase, level 6, would be, phase 6, would be the individual having a conversation. There has been very little research on anything other beyond the first phase, phase 1, where they are manding for a request for an item. It's interesting that in the video clip they indicate that the goal is spontaneous communication, when a real, I want to say, drawback or criticism of the PEC system is that it is all very controlled by the teacher and not used spontaneously. The teacher is indicating when the student can ask for something. But it is widely used and has shown some success. There's more research that needs to be done on that. Okay, interventions that are used with this population. Very commonly, sensory interventions like auditory integration, sensory integration, and visual training. Auditory integration, listening to sound, so it integrates things within the brain. Sensory integration, there's a chapter in your book, but not a lot of research supporting sensory or auditory integration. Sensory integration, where you're using deep pressure and movement, vestibular sensations to calm the student. Social communication techniques like social stories, we saw an example, social songs, scripting, giving the student a script, video modeling, having the student watch a videotape of either themselves or a peer, and what's called floor time, or some derivation of play therapy, where you're working where the student is coming from and capitalizing on that. So a wide variety of interventions. So there are many treatments, interventions that can be used. How are you going to know what to do? There are many controversial treatments that are supported by some autism advocates. Some of the ones that you may have heard about: pet therapy, using a pet, auditory integration, listening to the headphones, dolphin therapy, craniosacral, we'll take a look at in a moment. Facilitated communication was widely used until it was soundly shown to not have any research basis. Music therapy, all the way to psychoanalysis and chelation therapy. Many different kinds of therapies. What information can we use to decide what to select? What are we going to select? How will we know based on all of the things we see in the internet? Is it going to be testimonials, cheapest, briefest, fastest, least effort, or empirical evidence? Has science taken a look at it? I want to show you some reasons to start thinking about whether or not we can trust everything that we see. Let's take a look at a few pictures and think through of what you see and why you may be deceived. Got all these interventions. What are we going to do? What information can we use to select? Testimonials. Does a sports hero or a movie actress tell us that it's useful? Cheapest? Briefest, fast, least effort, easiest to do. Empirical evidence. Has science taken a look at it? The message I want to send to you is that you don't believe everything you see. very little in the world is obvious, and you need to rely on science, and that's the beauty and the beast of science. It will tell us whether or not we can believe what we see. I want to take you to take a look at some pictures that I'm going to display here, and take a look at what you consider to be obvious, and then we'll talk about whether or not the obvious can be deceptive. So looking at those pictures, you can see that there's an optical illusion going on. Very little is obvious. If you look at it closely, it's easy to be deceived. I thought those were fun little exercises, give you something to look at other than me for a few minutes. Very little obvious. You have to rely on science to help you out. Don't believe everything you see, and certainly not everything that you read. When you're making sense of a claim, ask yourself these things. What's the nature of the claim? Are they saying it cures autism, that it helps everything? It can clear up sinus passages as well as autism? Are there professionals in the field who challenge the efficacy of the intervention? Has anybody said, no, this is a bunch of hooey? What kind of research has been done? Are they empirical studies that use controls, or is it anecdotal evidence? Are there financial and or professional incentives associated with the intervention? Is someone getting money off of it? Is there a reason why they may be promoting it? For whom has this intervention been effective? Does it work with all individuals with ASD? Does it work best with individuals with communication, behavior challenges? Are there risks associated with it? Is it going to increase any medical difficulties? Will it take away from family time? Are there decision rules involving the intervention? Do you know when to stop? Is it clear that we've done enough? Move to another phase. We're ready to move on to the second phase. What do you do to make sense of these? These were put out by Scott, Clark, and Brady. I think some very good questions for that. Empiricism is paramount. And I think I've said that several times on there. Time is precious. I want us to take a look at an internet claim from a treatment that is used for individuals with autism. And I want you to think about what we have said in terms of looking or evaluating the validity of a claim. This site, I think, violates many of the things or raises the red flags that we think about when we think about looking at evidence. So let's take a look at this webpage. So here we have an example of a claim found on the web. This is for the Upledger Institute. It says, from our hands to yours, and it has a rather nicely detailed or developed page. Let's take a look at some of the things. Craniosacral therapy. CST was pioneered and developed by osteopathic physician Upledger following extensive scientific studies from 75 to 83 at Michigan State University, where he served as clinical researcher and professor of biomechanics. CST is a gentle, hands-on method of evaluating and enhancing the functioning of a physiological body system called the craniosacral system. Using a soft touch, generally no more than 5 grams or about the weight of a nickel, practitioners release restrictions in the craniosacral system to improve the functioning of the central nervous system. By complementing the body's natural healing processes, CST is increasingly used as a preventative health measure for its ability to bolster resistance to disease and is effective for a wide range of medical problems associated with pain and dysfunction. These include, let's take a look at some of them, migraines, head and neck, motor coordination, colic, autism, central nervous disorders, scoliosis, infantile disorders, learning disabilities, chronic fatigue. So on and on the list goes of how this treatment can affect or help everyone. It has a very, what I consider to be a pretty upscale look about it. It has some medical backing of someone who has credentials, but I would really question the effectiveness, the empirical evidence of some kind of treatment that is effective for chronic fatigue all the way to autism and colic. So you're going to have to be mindful of the things that you see. So empiricism is paramount. The time that you have with your child is precious. You don't want to waste any kind of time in doing therapies that are not effective, may indeed be harmful. So make sure you use science to understand. The only evidence, the only therapy that's received any empirical basis has been applied behavior analysis. We've gone through those before. It's the only approach that's been proven effective at this point in time when working with individuals with autism. It's the only therapeutic or educational approach that is deemed effective by the Surgeon General of the United States. So again, pretty concrete evidence for ABA. I'd like now for you to take a look at a video. This was a video produced here in Pennsylvania by PSU at Penn State, and it looks at the applied behavior analysis. It is aptly called Time is Brain, indicating that time is very short and must be used very, very effectively and well. This deals with some parents who are talking about using applied behavior analysis in their homes. Let's take a look at that.
This story comes to me all the time. My pediatrician said, my doctor said, my mother said that he just develops more slowly than other children, or he's a boy and boys don't develop so quickly as girls do. And so we just waited because there was no reason to worry, because no one told us there was reason to worry. And the clock just ticks on.
Early intervention is key.
Feel 8 here, okay?
Autism is a disorder of communication and social functioning.
Show me where.
The fact is we really don't know why autism is increasing, but it absolutely is.
Living with autism 24/7 is not easy.
Many children with autism exhibit problem behavior. You know what I mean?
He had absolutely no communication.
Look here.
He would often throw tantrums because he had no way to tell us what he wanted.
Autistic children don't learn through osmosis.
What do you want?
Our students, they need to be taught every little step.
Can I go play? Can I go play?
Yeah, go play.
There's hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
The term time is brain is absolutely accurate for children with autism, because the earlier we find them and the earlier we can get them good treatment, the better off they'll do.
Autism is a brain-based neurological condition that usually presents at a very young age with abnormalities in communication, social development, and certain specific behavioral abnormalities.